Hey guys, I'm coming to you from sunny Southwest Florida. Unfortunately, after Hurricane Ian, in my driveway during the hurricane sat this 2023 Lexus RX 350 hybrid. And I'll be giving you guys a little review today, but there's a lot of devastation. This is the first day I got back. I just got back into town a couple hours ago. This vehicle's leaving tomorrow. It's very dirty. It sat in my driveway during the hurricane. It did okay. Luckily, I didn't have any catastrophic flooding or wind damage or anything like that. I was very, very lucky. But just looking at this bay here where I do my typical reviews, I get a lot of my B-roll. You can see this boat just washed up on the dock. Over there, there's a boat that's off of its dry dock area. There's boats just everywhere. Down there, there's a boat in somebody's yard. And this is maybe somewhat better than what it was definitely the day after. So I'm gonna do my best to give you guys a review of this RX 350 hybrid in disheveled Southwest Florida. So what we have here is a brand new powertrain for the new RX. This is a 350h. It's shared from the 350h NX. It gets us around 35 miles per gallon. I can get up to 40 miles per gallon with this setup, no problem. And it offers up to 246 horsepower when you put premium fuel. Talking about the exterior design, we have 21s on the RX for the first time ever. Of course, this is the top of the line luxury package. And so we're gonna have the beautiful triple beam LED headlights. I like the new spindle body grille. We have the paint that comes down on the front of the grille. We have this breakup, these diamonds that kind of give it a little bit more character, breaks up the large spindle grille that the Lexus RX has had in the past. So Lexus has done a great job making this vehicle look a lot better from just about every angle. I think the side angle is a little bit off. The front overhang is just massive on this thing. So let's go ahead and get on the inside and just give you a quick rundown. Dark brown with accented with black. This has a semi-aniline leather with the thigh extender here. We have the Mark Levinson sound system, the digital latch. So you just press this, it opens the door for you. Getting inside, super comfortable seat, good door slam. We have wood around the steering wheel here, a customizable head-up display, which you can customize with these customizable buttons here, paddle shifters. We have traffic jam assist. I've turned off all these safety features. So in this 14-inch screen here, I go to driving assist, and what I've turned off is a couple things here. Traffic jam assist, which is new for the RX. I haven't really needed it, but what really gets me is this proactive driving assist. And I've taken everything off here because what happens in city driving, the car literally starts decelerating for you. If it sees cars ahead of it slowing down, I don't like that. It also decelerates if it sees a bicycle or a pedestrian that's not really in your way. So I've just turned all of that off, and now it drives like a normal car instead of the thing freaking out and interrupting my driving experience. The 14-inch screen overall is excellent. If you need to get into more customizable climate controls, you have to pull up the vehicle and then you can get into your ventilated and heated seats. This dotted button gives you another sub menu where you turn the head-up display on and off. You can change driving modes, change lane departure alert system. And I took all that proactive driving assist off, which you could do through this sub menu as well. Of course, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wireless, couple USB-Cs here. Underneath this wooden panel, another USB-C, a USB-A, a wireless charger down there. Nice dark wood around the shifter. The shifter, unfortunately, is really small. My hand always feels awkward. I don't really know where to put it. It's unfortunate. I actually prefer the old shifter on the outgoing 4th generation RX. We have the adjustable cup holder in here. We have the nice wood on the dash, soft touch. The interior is pretty nice here. This has the adjustable, you can see the boat up on the dock there. That's pretty surreal to see that in the digital rear view mirror. We have a massive panoramic roof here. And we have really good overall sunroof controls at the top, as well as these touch sensitive lights. You can see just how dirty that the sunroof was as it sat outside during that Hurricane Ian. We have this really nice soft headliner in here. Doesn't feel quite as premium as the Lexus LX, but that vehicle costs pretty much twice what this does. Yeah, the seats just overall with this suede with the semi leather is really, really high quality. Unfortunately, Lexus decided to go with glossy black here, and it's such a small amount you'd think it wouldn't be a big deal, but when I was driving on the way down here, it was blinding me. So no need for glossy black in any vehicle, because it will end up blinding you, collecting dust, etc. Anyways, felt lined glove box here in the center. Getting in the back seat, I was going to take my kids to school in this, but a hurricane came through and that kind of messed everything. We have motorized seats back here and a sunshade on this luxury trim. Very nice cladded back door here for this luxury package. The back of the seats are very high quality, so you might think this is hard touch, but it's actually like a soft mold, kind of like the dashes up there. So yeah, very high quality back to the seats here with this elastic mat pocket. USB-C's back here. I'll be using this to charge my camera here in a little bit. Ventilated and heated seats in the back of the RX, as well as tri-zone climate control. So it's the first time I remember seeing tri-zone climate control and a 2-row RX. A 3-row RXL had that. And then we also have the vents here as well. So I sit back here, tons of legroom, immense amounts. I'm 6'1", tons of room, no problem. And yeah, good view with that panel roof. Getting into the back of the RX 350 all-wheel drive, more cargo space than ever before. You have the buttons over here to motorize those seats down. We have a 12-volt system here, and then we also have a massive 1500-watt AC 120. So if you're in a hurricane, you lose power, you can use this vehicle as a generator to generate up to 1500 watts to keep the fans running. Maybe run some electronics as well. So that's super nifty in a situation like we're in right now. Of course, we have a nice 360 camera here, just backing out of this review spot. And it does preview the image of the ground underneath of you while you start driving as it collects that information. It's pretty amazing new technology that I don't see a lot of manufacturers doing. I'm glad Toyota and Lexus has been incorporating it into their new vehicles. So pretty cool as we drive away from the review spot. I haven't made it down this way, so I don't really know what's in store for us. But we will actually drive through the neighborhood around here as well, so you guys can see just the amount of destruction it has done inside the homes, because all these homes around here were flooded by the storm surge. Now, it wasn't nearly as bad down here as it was in Fort Myers, Captiva, Sanibel, Pine Island, etc. Those places are absolutely devastated. They're finding more and more dead bodies every single day. Pretty insane environment that we have going on here. We have this crane lifting trees. I don't know what's going on, so I'm just going to do a U-turn here. Very tight turning radius there for this RX, so that was impressive. The steering is pretty light in here. I feel like it might be a little bit lighter than the old RX, but this thing does drive a lot better than the old RX. And I'm glad I turned all those driving assistants off, because what happens in this situation, the car would have started slowing down, and then when you get close to the car, it takes off the brakes. So it like barrels you into the vehicle ahead of you if you're not paying attention. So a little bit more about this hybrid system. We have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder mated to 2 electric motors up front and 1 in the rear to power the rear wheels. So it's very similar to all the other Toyota hybrids for the most part in the past 2 years. It all started with the Prius. The Lexus RX was the first RX luxury it was the first luxury crossover, maybe the first luxury vehicle to be a hybrid. So that was in the mid 2000s. And now for this the 5th generation RX, we have 3 hybrids. We have the 450h Plus, which won't be available at launch in America. It's probably the best RX, but not available, and it's going to be the most expensive too. Then you have the 500h, so the first ever F-Sport performance model for the RX. That one's definitely the most fun to drive. And then you have this one, which is my favorite version of the RX 350h. There's also the turbo version, which got rid of the V6 for the non-hybrid variants, and that one's okay. It definitely handles the best, but the powertrain is so-so. This powertrain, it's the weakest out of all the Lexus RX powertrains at 246 horsepower or so. With just normal, everyday, keeping up with traffic situations, it's very smooth, very quiet. If you can drive this with a light foot, you can get 40 miles per gallon. I'm just going to do a U-turn here because that lady's driving so slow. It's driving me a little bit crazy. Again, that turning radius is very, very small for such a for such a large vehicle. Like the RX is far from its original 1st generation size. That's more like a Corolla Cross size nowadays, something like that. Even smaller maybe than the Lexus NX. So anyways, yeah, the new RX feels smaller than it is, which is a good thing when it comes to handling. and overall maneuverability at low speeds. So turning on to this street here, you just see, I mean, every single first floor in the first, I don't know, probably half mile, maybe 3/4 mile, depending on where you're at, off the shore here in Naples, everything was flooded. A lot of these people haven't even made it back to their homes, so maybe half of them. That's why I see some lawns filled with trash and saturated and stinky furniture, and then other places that have nothing hanging out outside. Doesn't mean maybe they didn't get flooded. I guess that's a possibility, but after seeing those boats it's so close to here being washed into their yards, there's a good chance that every single house around here has had some sort of water damage. The braking on the new RX, they've definitely nailed it down. Even in this hybrid, in the past, just one generation ago in the NX hybrid, it had one of the worst brake feels. It's just absolutely unacceptable. But here in this RX, which is a similar powertrain, definitely an updated powertrain versus the NX 300H. Now the NX has 350H, but this RX 350H's brake feel is nailed down, very precise, great feedback. And it feels like a normal car with a good brake pedal. It doesn't feel like a hybrid when you get in the brakes, even though you have that regen brake going on in the background. Those regen brakes recharge the nickel metal hydride battery. So Lexus has decided not to go for the lithium ion here unless you get the plug-in hybrid. Today's Monday, and the storm happened or began early Wednesday morning. So we're still seeing a lot of, it's going to be a long time before this area is fully recovered, and Fort Myers and Sanibel will never be the same. And it's going to take a very, very long time for those areas to get back to some sort of livable capacity. But getting out of that devastated neighborhood, let's get onto the highway here. Let's drive this vehicle a little bit. Let's get out of the sadness. Let's get into the light here. And let's see what this vehicle has. I'm just in normal mode, mind you. No one's gonna be flipping through the drive modes. In normal driving, foot down. A little buzzy. I feel like it should be a lot louder. I can tell the engine is straining to get this vehicle up to speed. It's not fast, guys. 0 to 60 in this vehicle, I got like 7.8 seconds if I remember correctly, which isn't that much slower than the turbo. So in my opinion, like, why don't you get this vehicle? It's almost as fast as the turbo, and you're gonna get significantly better fuel economy. That's one of my favorite reasons for getting this model. You don't have to give up too much power to get great efficiency, and overall a smoother driving experience, a more luxury-like driving experience versus the 350 turbo with the 2.4 liter. It feels like I'm driving in fully electric mode right now, and I have to watch the EV icon, the little EV car on the dash, to let me know that I'm in EV mode. Because if I'm just cruising, I have no idea if the engine is on or off. The only time I know the engine is on for sure is when I'm like accelerating. If I'm straining myself, I can tell the engine is turning on with acceleration, but most of the time it's just fading into the background, and you're in a very quiet vehicle. Really, I don't hear anything in here other than my voice and the AC. It's hot out here. Of course, it's Southwest, where it's 86 degrees here in early October, and the only thing I hear are the fans. And if you have the Mark Levinson pumping some tunes or some podcasts, you're not going to hear anything outside of the vehicle. It's supremely quiet in the new RX. Lexus is planning to sell 70+% of the 350 turbo with this new 5th generation RX, and that powertrain, in my opinion, is the least enticing. They plan to sell in the teens for this model, 10% for the 500H, and 0% for the plug-in hybrid at launch. Long term, maybe they sell 5% of the plug-in hybrid here in the States and 10% of the 500H. I think this model, though, should be 30 to 40% of the sales volume. But I'm gonna end the video where it's at. Sorry if this wasn't the most educational RX video. Definitely watch my other RX videos from the initial drive event in Santa Barbara last month, or a couple months ago at this point. So definitely watch those if you didn't get enough out of this. And I guess I'll play some B-roll of me driving through my neighborhood with the amount of destruction that happened around my house. Thank you guys for your support during this storm. I've been out of my house since Tuesday, so almost a whole week. I've been in other parts of Naples. I've been in parts of Miami staying with friends, and other parts other than my house. So if my friends are watching, thank you guys for putting me up and my family up and my dog up for this past week. You guys rock, and special thanks to all my viewers and paying members of the channel. Hope everyone was safe out there, and my heart goes out to those who weren't as fortunate as me with this devastating hurricane in Southwest Florida. Thank you guys. Take care. Peace.